Hey there, this is Julian Cooper. I have just bought this new M3 MacBook Air, and in this video, I'll tell you guys why I choose this M3 rather than an M4, and I'll tell you guys why I choose 24 gigabytes of RAM and 512 gigabytes of storage in specific. And also, I'll inform you guys why I have added this new machine, since I formerly used a Windows laptop. Okay, so first part, why I choose this M3 version rather than the M4 version, which is the uh, rather up-to-date kind of generation? Well, because there are two reasons. The first one is about the price. The M3 version of the MacBook Air is like 1,000 RMB cheaper than the M4 version when we're having the same setting of setups. Like we're having the same 24 gigabytes of RAM with 512 gigabytes for storage, or we're having like 16 gigabytes of RAM and 1 terabyte of storage, or just anything. We're having like 1,000 RMB shorter with M3. So in terms of price, that's why I choose M3. And secondly, the performance is enough for me. Well, for me, I'm a student now majoring in artificial intelligence, but I got a server, a Ubuntu server, which is using the Linux system to run codes, do reasoning and everything. So basically, I don't need this MacBook Air to do too much heavy loads of work. And I got my old laptop, so playing game wasn't something that I have to consider. Okay, and the second part, why I choose 24 gigabytes for RAM and 512 gigabytes of storage in specific. Well, as for 24 gigabytes of RAM, uh, when M4 is announced, the basic model is like 16 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage. But 16 was a bit too short because like when you have this Mac system, when it started, it will have like about over 6 gigabytes of RAM already occupied. So basically, well, they're not enough for other applications, especially if you're trying to run any LLMs locally, or if you're trying to do some video editing, there is chance that you're gonna like have a RAM crash, which is something that I evidently don't want that I evidently don't want to encounter. Well, and as for 512 gigabytes, and let's talk about why I choose 512 gigabytes. When we consider the M3 version, the only models left are like 512 gigabytes for storage or 1 terabyte for storage. And 1 terabyte is a bit way too big for me because I do not have that much files, and I got like cloud disks to store some of the old files that I have. So actually, I don't have that much storage requirements, and and so 512 is surely enough for me. But if you look at the M4 version, you're maybe having a chance to consider whether you're buying the 256 for storage or 512 for storage. It's quite obvious that 256 is like a bit too small, especially when you're having loads of applications installed, especially when you're using like video editings. You're having tools that like it will take like uh, gigabytes after gigabytes of storage, and you have like videos that are prepared to be uh, transmitted onto online platforms, or videos that are still materials and required to be edited. They need to take up your file. They need your files. They will they will take up your file storage, and surely you have to leave enough space. Although you don't need like 1 terabyte or 2 terabytes. Well, for regular consumers, that is way too big. But 512 is still something that is quite necessary. And as for reviews on this machine, when I first unpackaged this machine, just gave me a sense that what we call it that only Apple can do. The texture, the screen, the outlook, the color, and everything, and weight, everything just impresses me. And when I first started this machine, the way it operates just sort of gave me a small shock because I was using this Windows laptop before this, and it was totally a different kind of version. I'm not saying that Windows laptops are not good enough. I'm not saying that Windows laptops operate slow or they're bad, but Well, the system logic is completely different, and the way and the way designers design these two type of machines is totally different. You can't just imagine. And something that I have to mention about this machine that is it has very super good endurance. Although this machine have like 52.6 or somewhat watt hour, that is the energy it contains, the battery, mm, still can run like approximately like 14 hours for me. And I mean, it's the total time that it has its screen on. The official website marked like 18 hours. Maybe we cannot go to that extent, but like 14 hours is very certain because I have several experiences of um, charging this laptop to 100% of electricity, and I have been using it like to 10 or 12 hours, and we still have like 47 or around 50 percentage of battery. So, well, I'm quite confident that we may surpass the 18 hour of battery time if we keep on going. I'm not sure, but well, the endurance is definitely very impressive as for someone who has been using Windows laptop for my past lives. And this comes to another point, the reason why I bought this new MacBook Air. I told you guys that I formerly used a Windows laptop, which is a gaming laptop, a Asus one with like i7 11800H CPU and a Media RTX 3060 laptop GPU. And that one is quite good enough when it comes to performancing, when it's come to doing AI tasks or like playing video games, it is absolutely fine. But when it comes to like endurance and using it and taking it out without its charger, it's definitely uh, the experience is quite like hell. And even if I use G-Helper, a software that helps um, control and maintain the performance, that helps you regulate the performance level of your machine, which you can push it to its limits or push it push it to its lowest. And even with that software, we still can only last for like 3 to 4 hours. And only like 3 or 4 hours will only go through like half a day, which is something that I definitely cannot accept. Well, that means I have to go and find some place with uh, a plug where I can plug in my charger. And that is quite hard because um, regularly I'll go to Starbucks, and Starbucks is in a sector outside the school, well, not very far. So there are many students going there now and then, and yeah, so it's quite hard to find a seat already, and even harder to find a seat with a plug. Well, I cannot leave my machine there to be charged every now and then, so typically I had to have a seat that has a charger just beside it. So the currency will so that my laptop is always on currency. Yeah, and that's something that is like hell to me, and I just couldn't help it. So I bought this new machine, and I thought I was gonna use this machine only for some light work, like some documentations or something browsing, or yeah. And after use the DaVinci, that I realized that this MacBook Air can really handle this, like like it's a piece of cake. Yeah, just handle it real easy without getting too much heatings, or it has no fans, so it won't make too much noise like a Windows laptop would do. And so the entire experience is like wonderful. So the whole experience is like wonderful. I didn't imagine that things would happen like this. Apple is really way beyond my expectations. Yeah, and that's all for this video. Thank you for watching. I'm just starting my channels, so if you got any questions or if you want to know anything else, please subscribe and comment below.